Welcome to my thoughts on Season 1, Episode 1 of Generation War, the original German title being Unsere Mütter, Unsere Väter, probably slaughtered that. And, so, spoilers for this first episode. So the first roughly 80-some minutes of this, for some reason, it was split into 6 episodes on my streaming service instead of the 3 that it apparently originally aired as, so just FYI, in case your version also is split into 6 episodes, this is technically the first 2 of those. Right, the episode is called A Different Time. I'm probably going to butcher the German. Eine, andere Zeit. I absolutely love this episode. And, probably going to be talking fast, still bad back. Only going to be talking about spoiler stuff in this video. I will be doing a spoiler-free review as soon as I've watched all 3 episodes. So, I guess maybe the day after tomorrow, failing that, the day after that is the plan. And, I think that... Right, yes. While I do make jokes in most of my videos, especially nowadays, I try not to, in these videos, when I talk about stuff from World War II and such, I intend to, not make any jokes in my videos on this mini-series. And I think, right, yes, so, in order to keep this shorter, I am not going to say, I love this and that before everything I say. I love almost everything about this episode, the depiction, not what it depicts. The Third Reich was, one of the worst chapters in human history. But please just assume that it's something I love. Right, and I'm not going to comment on every single, inaccuracy. I do appreciate that there are some inaccuracies. I don't think I know quite enough to do a good job talking about them, so yes. Getting into the specific episode, I wasn't immediately sold on the opening because it takes a while for them to get back to, I do love an immediate res, but by the end of the episode we are back to the very start with, let's see, so Friedhelm, dying, and for a while I was like, are they gonna get back to it by the end of this episode? It seems, but by the end they do, and it does, the fact that we know from the very start that he's going to die there, it adds this tragic, note to the entire proceedings. And I think they... keeping it to spoilers, so I appreciate that all, of the 5 friends, 4 of them do try to live up to the Nazi ideal. Really, it's only Victor, and one can understand why he isn't exactly keen on trying to live up to, and the, some of them struggle with it, so let's see, Charlotte and Friedhelm, they try to, but they do also clearly feel bad. And let's see, we have the, I quite appreciated, so with the character of Greta, we see, this is something that there is more of a conversation about today in America with the Me Too movement. This came out, years before that, and it is not only in Hollywood, it is indeed in many countries across the world that we see, people who really want to become famous, become successful, end up having to engage in, for example, sex with someone they don't really want to. And at the end of the day, technically, so I'm probably, let's see, what is his name? Not really My wrists are not really great for scrolling right now, so I will be calling him the officer. The officer back in Berlin, I think it is, who is with Greta and pretends he's going to help, Victor. You know, he does seem like he actually is going to try to help Greta become a star, but only because he wants to continue being with her. And yeah, I really appreciate the honesty around sexuality, the fact that, yeah, she is having sex with the officer, but, clearly, at least not all of the time at all, into it. Certainly that last time we see it, she's just waiting for it to end. And let's see, the jealousy that, it is very understandable Victor feels. And, he does leave, he doesn't only leave the dress, he does also leave a note, but it says, "Take care of my parents." It doesn't say "thank you" or "I forgive you." I don't blame him, but I do think it is, worth noting. And let's see, that brings us to the... Right, I thought it was quite notable with the officer. I want to briefly say, that is my favorite scene so far. Victor and Greta leaving, I want to say it's a movie theater, and the officer coming in with his wife and daughter, and everyone gets nearly everyone gets a character moment. I suppose the wife is no, I think she realized this is a Jewish person with an Aryan. The officer and both of his family members take issue with that, but don't say anything. Greta realizes that he is married with a daughter, and Victor can tell there is a relationship between, he can tell from the way that the officer and Greta are behaving around each other. But no of the 5 people, not one of them comes right out and says something to any of the others about, just the tension and all these little things going on. The editing captures every single moment beautifully. And I think that does more or less cover... Yeah, the one other major thing I wanted to say about the officer is we really do see the bigotry brain rot, the way that racism has completely destroyed his ability to think of, to perceive ethical behavior in any kind of accurate... he thinks that it's worse that Greta, an Aryan, is with Victor, a Jewish person, than him cheating on his wife, and, while he also has a daughter, as Greta points out. She's great with these comments throughout, pointing out, being snarky and such. And I think that does more... Right, and the fact that the officer does, for a while he pretends like he is going to help Victor, and I suppose it's not impossible that at some point Greta will find out, but she's not... By the end of this episode, she thinks that he got on the train and, is headed for, let's see, what was it, Paris and then Marseille, and based on the note, based on the tension between them near the end of, some of their last scenes, if she doesn't hear from him for a long time, she might assume, oh, he's still mad at me. Maybe I'll never hear from him again. Maybe he'll never forgive me. So, the officer takes advantage of her trust, of her love for Victor, just for his own gain, And let's see, I think that might be more or less. Right, I thought the stuff between Wilhelm and Friedhelm was also quite effective with the with the mother being very tearful in her goodbye, and then the father being like, you make me proud, you better start making me proud, kind of thing, you know, which, you know, this is something we see in other, you know, anti-war, you know, media dealing with World War II and also One. This kind of dynamic with the father just seeing his son or sons as an extension of him, and they should make him proud, and the mother actually being sad and afraid of losing them. Right. I don't know how I managed to forget to mention it until now. I was meant to say this at the start of this video. This miniseries was recommended to me by commenter Red Baron, who recently has left several comments on my videos on Downfall, let's see, Die Brücke, and, I forget if those are them. And, you know, we've been talking about how great Die Brücke and All Quiet on the Western Front are, and he recommended this, and yeah, so obviously I wanted to check it out. And yeah, right. So yeah, Friedhelm is very... I'm gonna mess up their names. Let's see. Wilhelm is the older. Yeah, Wilhelm wants Friedhelm to live up to the standard expected from, you know, soldiers of the Reich. And I mean, essentially, Friedhelm, he's bordering on being a conscientious objector, but he can't exactly turn down military service. You couldn't do that back then. So he has to go along, and, you know, he tries to avoid killing, and, you know, yeah, he does a little bit of sabotage, even self-sabotage with the cigarette, and let's see, the other, right. Despite that, he does still, it is his suggestion that they use the prisoners to you know, to find where the mines are and where they can safely walk. You know, and it's, you know, as he says, the war brings out the worst in every one of us.